Sweet. Alright, so welcome back to the pit. Today we're going to be grilling up some venison burgers, along with some grill fries, as I like to call them. They're just very large potato wedges. We're going to be grilling them up on the grill. Also going to do some bacon, so we're going to have bacon Swiss venison burgers today. I got my grill all ready, nice and warm, ready to go. So the biggest thing you want to remember with venison is that it's very lean. All game meat is very, very lean. So what I did when I was mixing it up this morning is I added a little bit of bacon fat in there and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and also a little bit of my homemade barbecue sauce, and it keeps the moisture in there. Because if you don't, the burgers are going to dry out after you get them cooked, and they'll just be very tough when you start eating them. So make sure you put a little bit of liquid in there, whatever you want to put in, keep them moist, or a little bacon grease. Don't put butter in. Butter just will cook off and won't leave a flavor in there, and it'll just end up drying out anyway. So I found the bacon grease works the best, or some Worcestershire sauce works really good. Or like I said, you could just throw in a couple tablespoons of your favorite barbecue sauce just to kind of keep the moisture in the meat. Threw in some seasonings, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of paprika. So all that's just kind of throw in the bowl, mix it all up. Made the patties. They've been sitting now for about 3 hours in the fridge. So, and then on the potatoes, cut them into wedges. I threw them into boiling water for 5 to 10 minutes, just kind of par cook them. Because if you try to cook them on the grill from the raw state, they'll just take way too long, and the outsides will get all burnt and nasty before the inside actually gets done. So threw those in some boiling water, cooked them off for about 5 or 10 minutes, drained them, got some olive oil on them, a little bit of salt. So they're ready to go on the grill here in just a few minutes. And then we'll get our bacon on as soon as the burgers get about halfway. I talked about in my first video about cooking bacon on the grill, so we'll be doing that as well. Let's get some of these going. So it's a little cooler today than it was last time. Last time I was out here it was about 90 plus degrees. Today it's about 75. So a little cooler out here, a little more pleasant. Now I've got a little pan here with some butter. I'll keep them melted. I like to toast my buns a little bit on the grill whenever I do type of burgers on the grill. So I'll keep a little pan with some butter in it melted. And when the burgers get about done, I'll take and butter up the buns and just kind of set them around the grill. Get them a little toasty. And again, you just want to watch for your flare-ups. It's just from the grease in the food or the oil in the food. That's just the olive oil dripping off. Don't spray water on it. Like I said before, if anything, just take your tongs and slide the food over until it burns off. Don't take on. It's not a lot of oil there. And venison's not going to shrink up
Dirt just followed you.
like the burgers do. If you're cooking with beef, ground beef, usually when you make your patties, you cook them, they'll shrink and swell. Venison doesn't do that because it doesn't have all the fat in it. Neat little trick, I'm sure you probably heard people talk about it. If you're cooking beef, you put a little, take your finger and your thumb, just put a little dent in the middle. It'll keep that from happening. And plus, if you make flatter burgers when they cook, they won't be as thick, unless you like a thick burger. Everybody likes thick meat, some people don't. So if you're cooking with beef, you make the patties really flat. When they cook up, they'll shrink up and swell. But if you make them, start out with them really thick, when they swell, they're going to be really thick in the middle. So you put that little dent in. This is just out of habit. When I was making them this morning, I just kind of put that little dent in the middle, even though these aren't going to swell up like the beef does. And when you're grilling out, I think I mentioned this in the first one, the meat or the food will let you know when it's ready to move, ready to be flipped. If you start shoving underneath there and it's thickened, just leave it alone. The meat will release from the grill when it's ready to flip. So like that one's not moving. And venison you want to cook all the way through. You don't want to eat it with any pink or any raw in the middle. It's not like beef. You can't do medium rare. You can get sick from eating uncooked or partially cooked venison. So make sure you cook your venison all the way through. I don't recommend doing what I just did unless you're used to dealing with hot stuff. My hands are very calloused, so it doesn't bother me. Touch the hot things. There. Still burns occasionally. Again, I got my grill set up. I'm only using about, 2/3 of it. So this over here is completely cold. I talked about zones on my first video. This corner back here and this side is my hot side, my hot spots. It's a little cooler here, a little cooler there, so as you move away from the heat, it gets cooler. Charcoal's thicker, and I try to put the bigger chunks either off to the side or in the corners. Keep that as the hot spots. So it's a little cooler out in this area. You hold your hands over it, you can feel the difference in the heat. Since the meat was seasoned, since I put the seasoning in the meat when I made up the patties and stuff this morning, I don't really need to put anything on them right now. But if you want to put some salt or some extra whatever on it, then you can do that while it's cooking. Or do it just as they come off. There's also no good time to put seasoning on your meat.
Okay, hold on a second, okay. Hey, what about if people like to put barbecue burger or make barbecue and stuff on it? When should you put barbecue or...
Like if you want to put barbecue sauce on the burgers?
Yeah.
Just like when you're doing chicken or ribs or anything, you do it towards the end.
Towards the end?
Yeah, or 2/3 towards the end. If you like a fully cooked patty, obviously you want to do it more towards the end. If you like a medium rare, then you want to do it a little sooner.
Yeah.
It's like if you're doing ribs, you're finishing ribs off on the grill, you put your sauce on there towards the end, so that way it doesn't get all burnt, caramelized, and nasty on there. Sometimes people put the barbecue sauce on right at the beginning, and then by the time everything's done, you got this real nasty black coating of sauce on there. And that's because all the sugars in the sauce is caramelized and burnt from being on the grill too long. Back a little bit. So, yeah, don't put your sauce on at the beginning. Like if I was going to do these, I'd do another 5-10 minutes before I started salsing. And just do one side at a time, like this side's cooking. Just take your brush or whatever, put a little barbecue sauce on there, then when you flip it, once you flip it, reapply it to the other side, and you can always reapply it every time you turn it. Keep it uniform on the sauce. keep an eye when you're doing potatoes like this. Like I said, I part cooked them for about 5 or 10 minutes, boiling them out. But you don't want the outsides to get too done before the inside gets tender, or it'll start to burn. Get our bacon going here in just a minute. And another thing you can do with venison, if you don't want to put a lot of fat in the meat, is as you're cooking it, you can do this. Keep a little pan of butter out here and just kind of brush it on the burger as you're going. That'll also keep the meat moist as well. And keep in mind the size of your grates on your grill when you're doing the potatoes. You don't want them cut too small so they don't fall through there real easily. Start pulling everything off to the side. Keep it warm, but keep it cooking. As you can see, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but this side here, this corner, all my coals are now really going, so it's really good and hot in that corner. So I'm going to try and keep my food away from that area. And I'm going to start making room for my bacon. Usually tell by feeling meat is how much give is in it. Same thing with beef or steaks. You know, you see people cut it all the time, they push it on their finger. It's just the tenderness of the meat. Also tells you how done the meat is. Like a rare, so it's a good little test. The rare, if you just barely touch your finger to your thumb, not squeeze or push, but just touch it, that would be rare. And you have medium. You're feeling right here in your thumb, like this is your meat you're cooking. So when you touch this, that would be rare, that would be medium, medium rare, and then this is well done. You can feel that muscle in your thumb tighten up as you progress down your fingers, and that's the same feel you're going to feel in the meat as you're cooking it. Now when you're doing bacon on the grill, you are going to get some flare-ups just because of the grease coming off of it. Just cook it up. I apologize if anybody's asking me questions or anything. My bro stepped off to take a phone call. No. Venison doesn't typically take as long as the beef does to cook. But like I said, you do want to make sure it's done. If you're not sure, just take a knife, cut a little slit in it, and just kind of push down to see how pink it is in the middle there.
Ooh, bacon.
Yeah. Do this. Butter on the potatoes.
Taters. French fried taters.
Do it. Bacon is tricky. Not gonna lie. Smoke's in my eye. So if you're planning on setting up a pit or a grill, something like this, I did mine because my deck and everything is out in front of me. So when I'm cooking, if I'm having guests over or friends or family over for a birthday party or something, I can see everybody. I wanted to put it this way because the wind always comes in my face, as you can see, it's blowing everything in my face. But I didn't like the fact that I wouldn't be facing my deck when I'm cooking. So this is why I set it up this way. But if you're going to set one up and you've got the options, try to turn it sideways to the weather or even backwards to the weather so the wind and everything doesn't blow everything right up in your face like it is with me. And I tell you, if you've never done bacon on a grill like this, it does give it a different taste. And we will let these rest once we get them cooked here. Even if it's just burgers or pork chops, steaks, anything, you always want to take it off the grill 5-10 minutes before you serve it or cut into it or eat it. And you can always, you've got pans. If you don't feel your potatoes are cooking right, you can always take them and put a pan over them. That'll capture that heat in there and create like a little oven. So it'll also help bake them versus just using the heat from underneath. That way you get the heat all the way around what you're trying to cook. You can do the same thing with burgers. That's why when you close the lid on your grill, you know, it just becomes a big oven. All that heat comes up and just circles around. You need to learn how to do small portions of charcoal.
Amp's in here.
Hey, what's up, Amp?
We lost your camera.
Lost.
I'm trying to get it back. We have the
That?
overall food camera
Oh.
and you have audio, so
That's weird.
it froze. Which had happened, so I'm gonna try to fix that.
Technology.
You know,
Yeah.
Amp says cooking.
Let's see. Oh yeah, it's not blue anymore. Why that shut off? If you stack these up and rotate them around, it'll help keep some of the moisture in the meat as well.
Amp says he enjoys moist meat. Shocking.
No surprise there. I think the taters are getting. Ooh. Yes, sir. Now I went and did it. Cook the bacon as long or as little as you like. I like a little bit of crisp, but I don't like it to where if you breathe on it, it shatters. I like a little bit of chew. what you want to do if you're got all these potatoes, if you want to see if they're done, typically you want to go for the biggest and the thickest piece to test it. Same thing with your meat and your burgers. You know, if you put everything on at the same time, to get your biggest cut or your biggest, thickest piece of meat. If that's done, then the rest of them should be done as well. You can see that it's still got some give to it, so we'll kind of put those back over the heat a little bit. Bacon's done. I was thinking maybe on the, on the next show we'll do some leg quarters, chicken leg quarters, and barbecue them up with something else. Maybe some corn on the cob. That sounds good. Grilled corn on the cob. Some barbecue chicken leg quarters. That sounds good. Maybe I can get one in sooner than, what's that, 2 weeks? Last one?
20, like 23 days.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Okay, so it's been 3 weeks. Quick. Just for a couple minutes. Put that in there. Help get them cooked a little bit quicker. Next time do 10 to 15 minutes on the parboil if you got thick potatoes. I wonder why that camera shut off.
Sometimes they freeze, so you have to fix it. So.
You can't do it while you're streaming.
I should be able to. I don't know.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
That's fine. Fair wolf.
Live and you learn. Alright, we got some brioche buns here. Some butter on
That
there.
just butter.
Yep, just butter. Butter. Soft like butter. Alright. I'm not going to make a mistake of trying to grab that with my hands. These are going to brown quick. Bread will cook and brown very quick over the hot coals. So you want to be careful not to burn it. Obviously this is something you can do. Take your meat off while it's resting. You can start getting your buns ready. Almost got it burnt. Off. Who's making fun of me? I'll put a little bit of butter on these. This is just an old shaker container that's empty. I got salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and chili powder all mixed up in there. Now what would be really good is to do some sweet potatoes like this on the grill and then cover them with some butter like that, sprinkle some brown sugar and some cinnamon on there. That would taste. So that one. That one. Cheese. Your bacon on here. I got some baby Swiss. I'll lay on there. I don't know about you, but I like a lot of cheese on my burgers. And I'll take this. Do that. Preheat that oven again. Give that cheese a minute to melt. And fresh melting. See the smoke come up from right there. It means the cheese is probably dripping on your coals.
What's up, B-Max?
I didn't bring any condiments or anything like that out. But obviously, you can dress the bones up with your favorite ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, whatever, pickle. I like lettuce and tomato. Or, I'm sorry, onion and tomato on mine. I'm not a big lettuce fan. I don't usually put a lot of condiments like mayonnaise and stuff on my burgers because I like to taste the meat, especially when it's venison. You don't want to, put a bunch of shit on there to cover it up. You want to be able to taste the venison. Why a lot of people eat it just because it's good. Got a good flavor. Not beef. When it comes to burgers, I'll put a little bit of mayonnaise or ketchup. Fly, I'm gonna throw your ass in the choke hole if you don't get away. Cheese is not quite melted all the way yet. Buns. Now, no, both of these burgers are not for me. I can hear you now, Ann. Don't say it. we go. Venison bacon burgers with some grill fries, as I like to call them.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of those is yours.
Yeah, I hope so.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for watching. Like I said, hopefully I'll do another one in a shorter time frame, other than 3 weeks. But I do work a full-time job and have 2 kids, so I do this one at a time. So thanks for watching. See you next time on The Pit.